Okay, so welcome to our Coffee with Bāeo, and we are so excited to have Teresa Palmer, fellow Yours and Mama, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be very difficult for us to concentrate on anything other than baby poet today. Our other guest that we have.
I'm just waiting for the projectiles for you to come. I'm ready. I'm waiting for it.
It's okay.
It's coming. I hope it's not the curdly. You know the stinky curdly? I'm hoping it doesn't happen on your couch today.
I feel like it's fine. We've had baby spit up on this couch. It's all good.
She's so cute.
She's a chunker.
So I'm sure all of you know, but maybe some of you don't, that this is Teresa's third baby that she's had.
Yes.
So that's very exciting. And for someone who has 2 kids and wants to have more kids, I'm very curious what it's like to go from having 2 to 3. And she has 2 boys.
Yes.
And now a girl. So I feel like
girl.
that's a little bit different too.
It took me a minute to get used to the vagina. I was really like, oh wow, you go this way. It's all right. Do you wipe in? Do you leave the in? Because you told me to leave all the things in there. Don't mess around with what's going on.
I was like, don't go way in.
Yeah.
It's like, there's things in there that you're like,
you don't wipe.
That's interesting. But if it's like if the poo goes up the front
then
of
you
the diaper.
You have to go in and dive in.
You kind of got to go in a little bit, but it's more.
This is more really going right into it.
It's more
We're diving in.
an investigative search.
Yeah,
So far,
I find girls much easier.
What?
Well,
really?
No.
Because I had a girl.
disagree.
Because I think you guys had boys first.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
I had a girl first, so I was like, I know what this is. This looks familiar.
Yeah.
But with him, I constantly thought that his balls were poop when I looked into the diaper because I saw something there, and I always like change his diaper thinking there's a poop, and I'd be like, oh wait, that's not
just his
poop.
balls.
It's just his balls.
I find it so much easier. The ball, you just pick it up,
Same.
wipe around, done.
Yeah.
I'm used to it now,
Same.
but when I first had him, I was like, oh my god, a girl's so much. And then I kept like
Oh my
pinching
God.
him back. I don't know.
That is, she
don't know
pees
my
on
way
herself though. Like that's what I'm not used to.
When a girl pees, when a
and
baby girl pees,
it's like a little water bubbler.
It's like a little fountain. It's just like flowing. I remember the first time I saw it happen, I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? I was like,
Same.
oh, that's pee. That's her pee.
Yeah, and it goes back onto themselves. Oh, there it is.
But it's not curdly.
That's what we were waiting
you
for.
did a little spit up.
Oh,
It's so cute. Okay, so we've determined that the vagina
I found
is
it
a
harder.
big difference between boys and girls.
That is a significant difference. I did find it harder, but it's still, I mean, she seems just like the boys, really. It's not that different, to be honest. I can't tell if it's a gender thing or if it's a personality thing, but she's certainly much more spirited. You're much more spirited. She's very passionate in her feelings and her emotions, and I can tell she's very intellectual. See, look, there we go.
More.
Right into my lap. Right into my vagina, actually. That's just perfect.
I love it.
Yeah, she's a fiery girl. She's definitely like, when I want something, it needs to come to me in about 3 seconds. Otherwise, we go red in the face. Our little fists get clenched. We go a bit purple, don't we? We scream for her. And I just can't tell. I don't know if I guess it's just her.
Yeah.
But me as a parent, I feel like I'm pretty different in that it's just not my first rodeo. I'm like, oh yeah, third baby. Super chill, not a big deal. She just kind of comes with me wherever I go. I forget more things in the baby bag. I'm probably less organized, even though I should be more organized. But yeah, it's been really good. It's been great.
Well, what about? I would really love to know. And I know you were asking earlier, but third baby birth.
Yeah.
How was that?
Really epic. We had,
She's smiling.
You're smiling at me. You did really well in our birth. You really helped me. So thank you. It was funny. I actually had a couple of complications in this pregnancy. I just had what's called an isoimmunization pregnancy, which essentially means that my husband has an antigen and my body rejected the baby at the start because she picked up on she had the same antigen that my husband carries. So my body produced antibodies to fight against her, essentially. So for the first 10 weeks, I was having to go in every week to get my bloods drawn to see what my levels were and to see if she was going to be in any danger. But luckily, my body didn't keep producing this antibody. So it was a more monitored pregnancy than my other two, which is not really my favorite. I mean, I had to have a bunch more blood tests and I had probably 3 or 4 extra ultrasounds. But she was great. And my body, it was very rare actually. My body did not continue to make this antibody. It just sort of started to at the beginning and then it just chilled out and my level was always at 0. So it was great. But until at the very end of my pregnancy, I tested positive again for having the antibody when I was about 38 weeks pregnant. And so it meant that my midwife, I was under midwifery care in South Australia. I decided to birth again with my favourite midwife, Julie Schiller. I had a beautiful dream birth with Forrest with her after having...
In the water, right?
In the water, a water birth, 3 hours from the very first contraction to when he was out.
That's amazing.
So it was really fun. Like you always have the fast births.
Too fast, but we'll go there.
And so I was really excited to birth with her again. It just meant that I was up against the clock because they like to see isoimmunization babies, as they call them, come out on their due date or right around their due date.
Oh, wow.
So when I was 2 days past dates, she asked me if I would like to have my water broken. And of course, that was not an option that I really wanted to entertain. I wanted my body to go into labour naturally.
Right.
And I had been in this pre-labour state for about 3 days. And I kept thinking it was happening. And I even got to the point where I called my birth team and was like, it's go time, we're on. And then it would just peter out at night time, which was really frustrating. So then on the kids' sports day, it was their very first Australian sports day, which is a really exciting thing for Aussie kids. We get to do sports day once a year where the kids all race and they do novelties and they belong to different houses and they collect points for their houses. And it was their very first sports day and I didn't want to miss it. And I just so happened to give birth the day of sports day. So I went to sports day. I was feeling stuff. I was like 40 plus 2. And I just thought today's going to be the day. So we, Bodie won his ribbons at sports day and then we all went to the hospital to have a checkup. And sure enough, my midwife checked me and she's like, oh, wow, you're pretty much 4 centimetres dilated.
4?
Yeah, just from doing nothing.
Whoa.
I think the pre-labour days was obviously helping
I'm sure.
to make my uterus all ready for the birth. And she was like, look, I could just burst your water right now and you'd go into labour and have the baby very soon. So what I did was I asked for a scan just to check on her well-being, because I thought maybe if she seems okay in there, my midwife might give me another 24 hours to go into labour on my own. So we had the wellness scan and I noticed that my placenta was calcifying a little bit.
Oh.
So there was these white calcification spots on the placenta and she was like, look, it's showing signs that it's getting a little bit old. And I guess that's what happens when you have an ISO pregnancy. So I said, you know what, just break the water. Let's just do this. And that's what happened. She broke the water and an hour later I started contracting. So I ended up just staying at the birth centre in the hospital. Wow. Yeah, and the boys were in their school uniform, so I had to grab, I had to get people to bring clothes down, and lucky I had my birth bag in the car, and and I just went for a walk, and I had this beautiful moment with Forrest. It was, you know, he was my youngest baby at the time, and I'm still nursing him. So so you were coming, and I was feeling that the contractions were sort of picking up. I was probably only 5 centimeters dilated at this point, and it was about 8 p.m. and it's Forrest's bedtime. So I nursed him, and as I was nursing, the contractions really started to pick up.
Wow.
And so I was nursing and breathing through. I was like, oh wow, they're really picking up now. Yes. Oh yes.
Well, you just wanted to talk a little bit about your experience in there.
Do you need to be back on the booty? This is her passion coming out. Oh.
She's like, well, I tried to tell you through my squeaks.
Yeah, I know. But in the room we had, you know how they set up a little humidicrib for the baby?
Yeah.
Well, I put Forrest in there. So he was his legs were dangling over the side. Obviously, he's way too big. And I nursed him and he was almost asleep. And I was rocking him to sleep whilst contracting.
Oh my God.
And I was like contracting through the rocking, and the movement was actually helping.
Third time, Mom. That is across the board. This
amazing.
Is so amazing.
I was like, what? And I rocked him to sleep whilst I probably was getting up to 6.5, 7 centimeters dilated. Yeah. And once I saw that he was asleep, I really remembered thinking, all right, I need to get in the water. But I was so happy to have that moment with him, that last kind of moment of him being my youngest baby. And I got to put him to sleep as my youngest in that way before.
I'm gonna cry.
Before my new baby came, which was just so. Mark was like, it was the most beautiful send off in a way, like into like middle childhood.
Yeah.
And so he fell asleep, and I was like, all right, now I can focus on me, and I need to get in the shower. And I went from like 7 centimeters to 9.5 centimeters in the shower. Because that's my favorite place to be.
Well, it's so funny because we were doing a shoot yesterday for Yours and Mama, and her friend Gemma
was the photographer
at the birth, and she was showing me some pictures from Teresa's birth.
Yeah,
and Teresa looks like the goddess of water and the goddess of motherhood when she's birthing. Her like long mane is like soaking wet, and I've never seen anyone like this in my life, where you're just like, you're smiling into all of it, which is just, I think that's what I was wanting to do in my birth internally, but externally I'm not sure it came across the way that it did for you.
Sure.
Like, you look so stunning, like beauty, motherhood, joy, like all these things just come out of those photos. Oh my God. Okay,
she's a phenomenal photographer.
Okay, whatever. The subject has to be gorgeous.
Well, I had one of those because Sarah attended my first birth, as you guys know. And I was much more in control in that birth. Like, how far along am I? Should I move into this position now? What do you think? What's the plan of attack? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that was just the way I was.
You had a chart, too.
Of like positions to look at.
All the things that you really are very organized. You have this, like, way that you want everything to go, and there's, like, a control aspect to it.
That was the first birth. Come second and third, I was like, wee! Like, whatever. But with this one, it was great because I felt like I let go so much that I totally was tripping out. Like in the stories I'd read in spiritual midwifery, and I remember being like, oh, what are they talking about? Psychedelic. But I went to this trippy place. I felt completely high. I was kind of laughing and smiling, and I was laughing at just like how gnarly birth is as well. Like it was making me laugh how intense the feelings were. I was like, this is so epic and strong that my body is pushing a baby out for some reason I found it quite funny, and I would be like laughing. And they were like, we think she might be close because she's acting really wacky.
So you went to that other place.
I was in a totally other world
I
universe.
wanna go to that other
Like
place.
it was really nice. And you know, a lot of singing and low vibrational sounds was helping, and just water. I'm such a water baby when it comes to birth and labor. And so I remember, you know, I had my whole girl tribe there. It was phenomenal. I had, you know, two of my best friends, one of which was my acting doula. She's an ex-paramedic, so I felt really safe in her hands. And then I had another best friend, Cassandra, there looking after the kids, making sure they were okay. My mum was there, my husband was there, Gemma, my birth photographer. So I actually had quite a crowded room. And Mark did this really beautiful thing, and that he kind of stayed back on the bed with Bodhi, and they were hanging and talking about what was going on. And I was in the bathroom in the birth centre with all these women who had birthed before me, and two of which were carrying babies. And they were just in there encouraging me, giving me ice waters, coconut water, stroking me, like laughing with me, playing music. And it was just my girls, and it was really empowering. I just feeling the energy of that room gave me so much confidence, and I felt really held by everyone. And I remember my midwife kind of popped her head in. She was like, I'm going to run the bath. And I got very excited because I knew that meant I was very close to giving birth. And then I went into the water. I had been in labour for about 3 hours at this point. I went into the water, and I was waiting for the push feeling to start that had happened with Forrest. And I just wasn't sure what was going on, because I started having these powerful contractions, like one after the other, and they were just so strong, and the rush was really, really intense. I just knew I should be feeling like I needed to push, but it wasn't happening. So I felt up there myself, and I felt lips. Basically, it feels like lips. And your teeth, where your teeth are, that's the head. So they always say it feels like your mouth when you have a cervical lip. And that's exactly what I had. I had a cervical lip, which meant that you're doing a big poo in my hand right now. I felt that rumble. She's like, so I felt the cervical lip, and it just meant that my cervix, I was at 9.5 centimeters dilated, and it had just swollen up, and her head was having trouble getting beyond the lip. And I said to my midwife, I can feel her head, but I know that I have a cervical lip. I experienced Sarah had one of those in her first birth, and I remember what Sarah was having to navigate, and I was like, oh my God, I'm right there. Thank God I attended Sarah's birth, because I would have had no idea what that was. But because Sarah had experienced it, I knew, okay, she had gotten through this. It was a challenging part of her birth, but I can do it. I definitely can do it. And I feel like I went into the zone of remembering where Sarah was at that time. I mean, her babies are so much bigger babies than mine. Yours was a 10-pounder. So I was like, all right, if she can do it, I know I can do it. I could do it. And so I just ended up getting out of the water. And you're unhappy about this? This is something you're unhappy about. I need to put you back on the boob. She's so funny. She gave me the look. So yeah, my midwife took me onto the toilet, and she held back my cervix, and she had me push really hard. I think I did 2 like lioness pushes.
I remember that.
Just like with all of you, you're pushing with everything, and I felt her head like past the cervix. And then she was about to come out. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to give birth right now. So they basically carried me, put me in the water, and she came out 3 minutes later.
Oh my God.
And I really slowed down the pushing stage. I just sort of did my, the breathing techniques that I learned from Ina May Gaskin, that whole thing. And her head just came out really slowly, no tears. So on hands and knees, and she was actually sunny side up. And I picked her up, and her eyes were looking at me under the water.
Oh my God.
And we were looking into each other's eyes, and I just picked her up, and I just couldn't believe it. It was such a beautiful experience, and straight away I was like, oh my God, we've got to have more babies to Mark. He was like, you're a crazy person. You are a crazy person.
But now you've like slowly convinced him.
I've slowly convinced him. For the first week, he tripped out. He definitely was in a weird place with the baby. I think because she's a girl, and he was very confronted by this, but he was so overprotective of the baby that he almost couldn't enjoy her. And I was like, well, actually, you know, when you look at statistics from the neonatal units, you'll find that the little newborn female babies, the younger female babies, they're actually the strongest. I was like, I don't know why you think that you need to be more protective of her because she's a girl, but it's this innate, just this biological impulse. He just was like, I'm the protector of my daughter and no one can come to the house and visit this newborn baby. And so it was just, it was really a challenging first week because I was like, stop being a psychopath. People are going to come over, they're going to hold the baby and she's not going to die. Everything's going to be okay.
Oh my God.
So
amazing.
Yeah, it was really funny.
That is such a beautiful birth story. Like, that's my dream for the next one.
Oh, did you do water with Jalen?
No, my Jalen story was very frustrating. I had to be induced.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I still managed to, so I did Pitocin, but I did a natural. But it was,
because you're
you
badass.
know what a Pitocin, because it wasn't, didn't you get
yeah,
Pitocin
but my
the first
Pitocin
time?
didn't happen until I was already 10 centimeters dilated.
Yeah,
so
no.
I didn't get that same intensity that some women get when they have to be induced, and then they do it, you know, without pain.
Yeah,
medication.
it was intense. I cried. You laughed, I cried.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But like an induction labour, I think, is so much more challenging in terms of just those labour contractions are really hardcore.
You don't have a second.
And you don't have the natural build up
Yeah.
either. It's just on, right?
But he came and he did it.
He is
and it was
mighty.
fast and furious. And
You have the fast births.
I
You have
do.
very fast births.
If you decide that you want to have another one,
She's gonna
you should
sneeze
just
and I'll
plan
come
on
out.
having a home birth.
I should.
Because
I think I'm going to do
quickly-
that next time too.
Yeah.
Because of how quickly your babies come. You already know that you have had 2 births where the baby came so fast.
So
You might as well not put yourself through like having to speed to the hospital and like rip your pants off and push the baby out.
So
That
true.
is true. And it's
so
not like being in the hospital. My doctor didn't even make it.
That's what I mean.
Not like being in the hospital and like gets me.
At
my
least
doctor.
if you're at home, you know, like Peter can catch the baby or like, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's something to think about. For sure. Hopefully next time I'll be laughing through my
Oh God!
and not
I was
crying.
laughing at it though. I was like, "What is going on? This is so crazy."
It is so intense.
It's amazing. Like what? And you only get to experience that day maybe once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times in your life. Hopefully for me it'll be 5 times. But yeah, it is so special and it goes so fast, and then you kind of forget about how challenging some moments are in birth, and you have that time to process your new little one, and then you're like, and now I want to do it all over again.
I know. It took me a while to get to that place, but I definitely want that again now.
You do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I enjoy
You'll be pregnant in 2.2 seconds, you watch.
So we were talking about how challenging certain days are.
Yes.
Whether it's, you know, your kids having a meltdown or all your kids are having meltdowns or something happened at work or where you just feel really overwhelmed and...
Yesterday.
And sort of how you...
Whatever do you mean?
And sort of how you manage that and how you take care of yourself and show yourself self-love and de-stress, unwind. Sort of what do you do to take care of Teresa?
Do you know what? I've been doing something lately which has been very helpful. I have been listening to certain podcasts. There's a really good one called On Being by Krista Tippett. And I've been thinking just about, honestly, our mortality. And when I put things in perspective, I'm just so lucky to be alive and have healthy children. And I think when I take myself too seriously and try and control any one day, that's when I run into trouble. So what I've been working on is just in the morning, I have a loose plan of how I wanted the morning to go. Typically, especially now with 3, it doesn't turn out that way. So letting go of any sort of expectations has really been serving me. The other day, we had our photo shoot. It was Bodhi's last day of school, and I wanted to get all these photos and I just, something happened and I left the baby bag at home. And I raced out of the door and I was like, go, we gotta get to the school. I gotta get the photos out the front of the school. And then he ended up being like 10 minutes late because I was doing all the photos and I was trying to, I was controlling. And of course I left the baby bag and I thought, you know what? This totally sets my day back at least 40 minutes. And this is a good thing though. This is a gift for me because I can just breathe and be like, it's okay. It is okay that I don't have everything, all my ducks lined up perfectly in a row. It is okay that I get to embrace being real and having mess and being stressed out, and that I show up to the water play thing that I showed up to with Forrest 20 minutes late and I only had one towel. That's totally cool. Like, it is fun. And she pooped all over that towel, so I had to borrow someone else's towel, and that's okay. I think it's, just taking the pressure off myself to be the perfect mum, to be the perfect person. And if I need time out from the kids, which I think we all do, I really ask my husband for that time. I have a strong communication with him and I'm very open and candid, and I say, you know what, I just need to go have a bath uninterrupted. I'm going to lock that door. I'm going to listen to a true crime podcast and it's just going to be me and a bubble bath, and I'm just going to unwind because I need it, and that's a recharge and a pick me up. But yeah, I absolutely have days like that. I think we all do. And now it's just, all right, be in the moment. Like, what's going on? Oh, yeah, Bodhi's being crazy today. Cool, that's where he's at emotionally. I'm just going to let him be crazy. I'll just put some boundaries in place and hopefully it'll work. If not, that's just where he's at, and that's okay. And it won't be like this forever.
Yeah, that's something that I try to remind myself all the time, too. Is like, it's not going to be like this forever.
No.
And as long as I'm, like, laying down the boundaries and, it's so different when your kids are older and you're trying to, like, work out what's my communication with them.
Oh, I know.
What do I allow them to get away with and what don't I? And, it's just...
It's so true. I'm, like, looking down the barrel of, Mark left today for Germany, and I have the 3 kids on my own as of tomorrow when my mum leaves. I'm flying with them to Idaho.
We're gonna fly as a posse.
A good
5 children and 2 moms.
Yeah, I mean a whole crew. And I know that in Idaho, I'm gonna be the only one there in terms of their parents, like laying down the foundations. All right, these are the boundaries, these are the rules, this is what's going on. And I'm sure it'll be super stressful, but I'm also just turning up and I'm just going to be super real. And if it's messy, it's messy. If we get some writing down, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
And I think it's that letting go of expectations.
Yeah, that's a big one for me. I find myself constantly like stressing out about getting out the door on time, and then if you really just pause and you're like, who cares if I'm 10 minutes late? Who cares if I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Gosh.
Like, why are you so stressed out?
Yeah.
Well, to get out.
On this beautiful podcast, Krista Tippett was interviewing someone. I wish I remember the name of the guy, but I have never forgotten this interview. And he said, one moment you're standing in life and then you get a phone call and then life all of a sudden looks a completely different color because maybe you got a phone call that your mother's died or there's been some tragedy or something's happened and your life totally takes on a completely different shape. And it is so true. When I think about that, I'm like, oh my God, I am so lucky. I have a loving partner. I have kids. Yeah, they're crazy, but things could be so much worse. And I'm like getting my knickers in a knot over not getting to school on time, or the fact that I was the only mum to forget to write the little love letter in my son's lunchbox. Like, I'm okay. He said it. He was like, how come you didn't write me a letter today? I was like, oh my God, I just forgot. And of course it's like your last week of school and I'm the crappy mum that forgot. But yeah, I'm just, be easy on yourself, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally was curious about that question just because I feel like a lot of times I get stressed out about getting everything done. Oh, I have to do these posts for Bāeo. I have to do this stuff for Yours and Mom. I have to do some writing. I have to go, make these 3 phone calls. There's a conference call over here. And I get stressed out about all the deadlines, this has to be done at this time. And then sometimes it just doesn't get done.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And you get down to the end of the day and you're like, well, everything's fine. Everything's still floating.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Everything's still out there. Maybe I have to send I'm sorry I didn't get this done text to somebody. But at the end of the day, everybody's doing their best, right?
Absolutely. I agree.
So.
Yeah. Mummies put so much pressure on themselves.
It's true.
There's days where you just want to I just want to curl up and cry because it's so overwhelming. Like all these I have to do this, and there's this meeting, and then there's the kids, and I have to pay, Lila's having a hard time with, she's always like, you're with Jalen, you love him more than you love me.
Oh, I heard her saying that on the phone this morning.
She's like, and I was like, I'm not with Jalen, I'm on the phone with Sarah, and she's like, but you're holding Jalen.
I could hear her in the background, she was so upset.
She's like, it's just not fair. And then she, walked into her room, and then you feel guilty, of course.
Yeah.
So just
mum guilt, isn't it atrocious? It's so real.
Well, you make it all you really do make it all look so beautiful. And I wouldn't say that it's necessarily that you make it look easy, but you do make it look really beautiful. You can see that you really enjoy motherhood.
I do really enjoy it.
And I've always loved that about you. I mean, that's something we very first connected on. Because I love it too. And it's so do you, It's just
the best thing. It's the best thing.
It is.
It's the best part of life.
And I feel like we're so lucky that we got to have you on Coffee with Bāeo because you're such a world traveler. You're going to be gone again for so long. I'm like,
no, it's just exhausting thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God. It's the next thing we've got to do.
I know.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, the last thing I want to ask you, because it's something we ask everyone, is a little hashtag what's in your cup.
What am I drinking? Oh, it's so crazy. It's this thing called LOVEWELL.
Tell us about it.
It's really funny. It's this company. It's my new company.
Yes.
It is nutritional shakes for mothers and for children. Is this one the Blossom or Grow?
That's Blossom.
Blossoms for mothers. And it can be for men too. Has he had any yet?
He tried it.
He did. Yeah,
Mark really likes it.
It's so good. I drink it this morning.
So this is my thing. This is my pick me up. But I'm the only mother, I swear, that doesn't drink coffee. What is wrong with me?
I don't know, but I live on coffee.
I think I need to take it up. I think
you're good.
I mean, there's people who say it's really good for you to have a cup of coffee a day, and there's other people who say it's fine if you don't. So it's not, it's you have wine. So
I do, and we will be having wine. We will be having wine next week.
Yes, we will. I'm starting to get really jealous.
I know.
Such a conversation.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this. We love having you and Poet.
Thank you.
And I feel like
still on the boat.
A goal maybe for next time that we have you on the show is that we can get more of your children here, so it could just be kind of chaos.
Crazy. That would be awesome. Can we do that, please?
Yes. We'll interview Forrest and Bodhi and be like, you have to look down the whole time.
The whole time.
Your face.
I know.
Put a blob on there.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, an emoji.
Floating blob.
He's so cute.
Oh, so good.
She's
all right. I love you.
Guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.